Hi, Bob Brill once again here, and it's time to look at your fantasy picks for wide receiver. Now, we all know that you're going to pick, CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson and all those guys. But the guys that are really going to make your team as a championship team are the guys who are going to be the other wide receivers because everybody's going to get hurt. Everybody's going to miss a couple of games or so, and you never know. I mean, it's the nature of the NFL. Players are going to get hurt. And so you need those backup guys, and you don't really want to have to go to the waiver wire or if you're in a pay league, spend money to go get them. So be prepared for those lower tier guys, tier five, tier six, tier seven, and keep an eye on them. That's who we're going to discuss today. Now, I'm using one book that's a cheat sheet, and I'm not going to tell you which one, but it's an easy cheat sheet. I know my players as far as who should be those backup guys. Okay. Uh, Due to the fact that, we're looking at third guys or maybe even fourth guys that are number four on the wide receiver list of that team, a lot of the names aren't familiar and a lot of the names will be rookies, but I'm not concerned so much with the rookies at this point because I'm in a dynasty league and I focus mainly on rookies in the first draft picks anyway. So we're going to take a look at some of the guys in the next few minutes that may not be on your headline list. And one of them actually could be, and that's Curtis Samuel. Samuel's with Buffalo. They picked him up. He's like third guy on the list, but they're facing some injuries and they do throw the ball a lot. So Curtis Samuel should be a guy you want to pick up maybe third round, fourth round, somewhere in there if you're in a standard league, especially a PPR league. Then moving down the list, I like Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall is a good option, as is Quentin Johnston. Now, Quentin Johnston was a number one pick, but he didn't really develop. And I think he's going to develop. I think that with Justin Herbert throwing the ball, and they're going to throw the ball a lot, I think what's going to happen there is Quentin Johnson is actually going to be somebody who probably should have gone in the third round, but you're probably going to be able to get him in round 7 or 8, maybe that low. And but I would not let him go too far down the list. Marvin Mims Jr., another shot. Here's a guy who is way down the list. But the thing is, the fact that he's way down the list doesn't matter because he's going to go probably higher because of the bloodline. And that's Luke McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's brother. This is a guy I would pick up because he reminds me of TJ Watt, who was JJ Watt's brother. And there's a family bloodline, a hardworking team, hardworking people. And I really like Luke McCaffrey. If I get a chance to pick up Luke McCaffrey fairly early, I'll do it. I think I should because I just think that bloodline is that strong. I think he's going to be a super player, and he may not look like it at the moment because he's a little down on the list. But I think this is a guy that if he's available in like the fourth or fifth round, you may want to grab him. I don't think he'll last much more than that. He may just because of the circumstances. Other guys you want to look at in this situation are Demarcus Robinson, Zay Jones. He's been around for a while, but he's been one of those guys that kind of sticks around, and he's a good option. Darius Slayton, DJ Clark Jr., Kendrick Bourne. Now Kendrick Bourne's coming off a major injury from last year. He didn't play hardly at all last year. I know I had him on my roster and I kept him all year, but he is a player that's going to go on a team that if he sticks with New England and he comes out and is one of their better options, they're going to throw the ball a lot. May not get a lot of completes, but they are going to throw the ball a lot. And I think I would never pick a New England running back, but wide receivers I think are an option there. And I think Kendrick Bourne, if he's healthy, and we'll know that shortly before the season starts. Keep an eye on him. I think he could be a guy who he's missed a year, had a lot of rest, and I think he could be a guy who could be a third or fourth guy on your team and make some noise. Jonathan Mingo. Mingo is kind of down on the list. He's way toward the bottom, and the reason is he just didn't develop last year. But I think he can develop, and I think he will. Now, he may not do it with his current team, Carolina, but he may. So he's got, I would keep an eye on late rounds, maybe your last wide receiver pick. And then Josh Reynolds, basically the same. I like Josh Reynolds much more than Jonathan Mingo, but I think he's one of those guys that can also be a really good option for you in the later rounds. That's it. We'll take a look at the tight ends in our next report. and look at some of the other options as well. I'm Bob Brill. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.